Hi again everyone. I was on Twitter the other day and I was challenged to make a really nice burger. I was trolling Twitter and come across an Asian inspired burger and I thought, oh, that gives me an idea. So our friends at Kerry Made challenged me to see what I could come up with. So we're going to make an Italian inspired burger. So instead of meatballs, we'll go in burgers. So what I've got here, I've got 400 grams of steak mince, so that's really good prime steak mince. So we'll pop that here, okay. In here I've got 200 grams of sausage meat. So you can take the sausage meat out for sausage if you like, or just buy sausage meat, whatever you prefer. So we'll pop that into our steak mince, okay. Now along with some salt and pepper. Now Italians are famous for combining beef and pork, so we're using that philosophy here into the burger. So we've got our mince and our pork sausage in there, salt and pepper. Here we have some chopped garlic, so that's 2 cloves of garlic chopped, so we're just going to pop that in as well. Scoop that in there. Right. And also I have here some sun-dried tomatoes, so that's probably about 6 sun-dried tomatoes chopped, so we'll pop that in, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to need to put in there finely chopped up half an onion. So now I've got a new knife, so I need to be careful. I haven't used this one before, so I'm going to have to be a little bit slower than what I would normally be. I'm quite right, I'm not used to this one yet. So if you get a new knife, take your time and just again, just finely dice that down. Doesn't really matter if you get a few big chunks in there, it's not the end of the world. As long as we get the burger to combine. So we've got our chopped onions, we'll pop that into here as well. And then next we've want to crack an egg in there, so let's use a knife. Voila. And time to get the hands dirty now and just mix that together. Just want to bind the eggs into the meat and get the sausage meat going into there. At this stage we've started to mix our mince combined. So here I have, let's move that aside a second, some basil and some parsley, okay, and I'm basically going to chop this up together. No point to chop it up separately, so let's keep it together. Okay, so okay, and just pop that into the sausage meat as well. Okay, and again I have to mix it, so another disgusting job for a minute or so. So let's just bind that together. Okay, so we've got our parsley in there and that's ready mixed. Now what we want to do, we want to shape them into beef patties ideally. A nice little trick for you. Pop a little bit of olive oil on your hands, just a tiny bit, not too much. And just rub it in, and this should hopefully stop the mince from sticking to your hands. Now, hopefully in the words. So grab yourself a patty and just bind that together. Now if they're a little bit loose, you can let them just rest in the fridge for a while, but we won't be doing that this evening, which is why I have my kitchen lit up like a Christmas tree. So here we have our first Italian burger. Yummy. And look, nothing stuck on the hands. Very good. Right, so let's go again. So this should make on average between about 4 to 6 burgers, depending on how much you obviously want to make, or how many people you want to feed, or how big you want the burgers. This would be another great meatball recipe as well, if you wanted to go down that road. Try and make them roughly the same, but if they don't all look the same, don't worry. So there we are, another burger, and so on. So we carry on doing that until we've got a fair few burgers, and then we'll start cooking them. Right, so now our burgers are made into patties. I have an idea. I want to try and incorporate the pork and the beef flavour really well and use the best Italian ingredients in this one. So I have some delicious smoked pancetta here, and ideally I just want to try and wrap some of this over our beef patty, like so. So we're sealing the patty here in gorgeous smoked pancetta. Get a few slices on there. There we are, like so. And then repeat the process on the rest of the 3 burgers. The burgers are now wrapped up in the lovely smoked pancetta. So what we want to do, we want to put that into a hot pan with a little bit of olive oil in. So we'll just cook one off for now. Just want to get that out of there and pop that into the pan. Nice and gently, okay? And it's important at this stage, we want to seal the beef burger and the patty. So let's keep it on a high heat, and once that's sealed underneath, we'll turn that down onto moderate temperature, and we'll let that cook for around about 3 to 4 minutes on one side, and then turn it over and repeat that process again. It has steak mince in there, so you could serve this a little bit rarer, but it has got an element of sausage meat, so we do have to be careful. But the sausage meat, I believe, is only 60%, so that's good for us mixing it with the steak mince, because it won't need as much heat to cook through. Okay, so the burger's been cooking there for a couple of minutes on that side, so we just want to turn it over gently. Now be nice and careful, okay? And we'll flip it over again in another few minutes. While that's been cooking, I've made basically caramelised some onions, and that's just for the purpose of the topping in the burger. So what I've done there, I've just chopped up some red onion, put that in with a little bit of butter and a tiny bit of olive oil, sprinkled a bit of sugar on, and just put that on a low temperature and let that simmer away for about 5 to 10 minutes, and we've got a lovely caramelisation on those onions, and we'll use that after. Tasty. I can tell with the texture the burger's gone a little bit firm, okay, and that's a good sign that it's pretty much starting to cook through, alright? If it's too soft, obviously, leave it, but let's give it a turn, let's have a look. Perfect. And that pancetta is nice and smooth across the top there. The juices are running clear as well, so that's another good indication. And we'll let that just settle there and cook along for another minute before I go to the next stage. The burger's cooked sufficiently all the way through, okay? So I'm happy with that, and that's just resting on that medium heat there for a bit longer. Now, at this stage, I've got some mozzarella, okay? And I'm just going to pop some mozzarella on top of my burger. And this is just regular buffalo mozzarella. Okay, full fat. You can use low fat mozzarella or cheddar cheese or whatever you want, but this is an Italian burger, so we use the mozzarella. And at this stage here, we're just gonna, a nice trick is actually to cover the pan. Now by covering the pan, what we're doing, we're creating a big amount of steam around the cheese and the burger. So not only will it soften the meat within the burger and cook it all the way through really quickly, so ensure that it's cooked, it'll also help melt the cheese as well. So just put in a hat on the dish there, and we'll leave that there for a couple of minutes until the cheese has started to melt. Okay. Now the burger's off the stove, and I've got that here simmering away still in the pan. The residual heat is still heating that up for me. In the meantime, we're going to build our bun. Here I've got like a small panini flatbread, which is great for this dish. So what we've got our panini bread here, okay, and I've got a little bit of green pesto, okay, and we're just going to rub some pesto into the bottom here. You see, you still hear that burger simmering away, it's yummy. So we'll take the lid off of that. Here, look, have a look. Perfect. And it's still cooking away. It's sitting there in the pan. Beautiful. So we've got our pesto there. Okay, now what we want also, no burger is complete without maybe a little bit of mayonnaise on the bottom. So we'll just put a little bit of mayo there. Now, we want some tomatoes. So let's chop your tomatoes widely, nice and chunky. Just lay them underneath here. Beautiful. Now these buns aren't round, so I'm going for something a little bit different, so why not? Also some cucumber would be good. Okay. Pop in some cucumber here. Okay, and then we've just got a little bit of salad here. This is just some lamb's lettuce. So that's beautiful. So pop a little bit of that in there. Or just, okay. Now at this stage we want to get our burger onto that. So carefully using the spatula. Let's take this bad boy out of there. Mamma mia. There. Stay. So we've got our burger there. Now, we've got the biggest basil leaf you've ever seen. And we're just going to pop that in there as well. Why not? And then some of our caramelised onions on top of there. Perfect. What else can we put on there? A little shaving of Parmesan cheese, some Parmigiano. Beautiful. And then just a little bit of drizzle of the pesto oil over the top. There's a nice soft note to it. And again, maybe just a little bit of mayo on the inside of that lid. Just spread that out and just pop that on top here. Ooh, stay put. There we go. Let's pull that onto here. Okay. So, this is my Italian inspired burger, if it wants to stay in the bun. But there we are, Italian inspired burger. Now who wouldn't be happy with that? That's a feast. Apparently I have to share this burger, so I'm just going to cut it in half here. It'll be too good to miss. That looks beautiful. Come and have a look at that. Gorgeous. You won't complain at that, would you? Now, the all-important taste test. Oh. That's delicious. Oh, we're still there. Okay.